Virgo, broken, that word. Um, Not sad, not disappointed. Broken, which is the word someone uses when the loss of something uh, has reached a level they didn't anticipate surviving. Uh, and what's coming through um, in the energy around this person is that the breaking happened from the inside, uh, not from losing you to someone else, not from circumstance, from recognizing too late uh, that their own actions um, were the thing that produced the loss. That specific kind of breaking, the self inflicted kind, is the heaviest because there is no one else to be angry at, nowhere to redirect the weight, uh, just um, the full, unredirected reckoning of someone sitting with what they did and what it cost. Um, the first thing coming through, and I want you to receive this carefully, is less than hashon. Zero hash is the nature of the regret. Mm. Because regret, like most things, comes in different forms. Um, there is the regret of consequence. I regret because of what I lost, uh, because of how uncomfortable this feels, because the outcome wasn't what I wanted. This version is about the person feeling the regret, um, about their discomfort, about restoring what they had, because losing it is painful rather than because they've understood what they did. Um, and then there is the regret of understanding is less than #05 I regret because I see clearly now um, what I couldn't see before. Um, because something has genuinely shifted in how I understand my own behavior and what it does to the people I love. Uh, because I am not the same person who made those choices. And I can demonstrate that, not just declare it. Um, what's coming through around this person feels closer to the second version, not perfectly, uh, not completely. But there is a quality in the energy of someone who has been sitting with something long enough uh, that the sitting itself has changed them. The question always uh, is whether the change is real. Um, and real in this context means behavioral, uh, demonstrated, um, sustained over time, not declared in an emotional moment, um, and then quietly abandoned. when the emotional moment passes. This reflection invites you to consider, what specifically did they do, not the general category, the actual behavior, um, the specific pattern that produced the break between you. Because naming it clearly to yourself, uh, not to punish, but to be able to assess whether what you're seeing now is actually different from that pattern, is the most important work available to you right now. Because you cannot assess change in something you haven't clearly defined. And assessment, uh, clear, honest behavioral assessment, is what protects you from the specific mistake of confusing someone's pain uh, for their growth. The second energy coming through, and this one is the one that stopped me, um, is love. Um, not the performed kind, not the convenient kind, the specific. I did not understand what I had um, until I no longer had it kind. Uh, and that kind of love, um, the kind that reveals itself fully only in the absence of what it loves, is one of the most painful experiences available to a human being. Um, because the clarity arrives is less than #0 7# at exactly the wrong moment. After, when acting on it, is complicated. Um, when the person it's directed at has good reasons, is less than #0 7# to not simply receive it. Um, and yet, the love appears to be real. What's coming through around this person um, has the quality of someone is less than #0. 7# who has spent real time is less than #hone. 0# in the absence of you is less than #0 5# coming to understand is less than #0 7# with a specificity they didn't have before, is less than #hone 0#. What you actually mean to them is less than #0 5#, not what you represented, um, not what your presence provided. You specifically, as an irreplaceable person whose absence has created a specific uh, unfillable gap, uh, that gap, um, and the recognition of it seems to be what's producing the broken, the regret, uh, the sitting with the weight uh, of having had something and not having protected it the way it deserved to be protected. Um, Now, let's talk about you. because this reading, uh, however much it's about what they feel, um, is ultimately about what you do. And what you do needs to come from the most honest version of yourself, not from their pain. Because their brokenness, uh, however real, um, however moving, is not a reason to make a decision. It's information um, about where they are, about what they're experiencing, um, about what the absence of you has produced in them. Um, but your decision about what to do with that information needs to come from somewhere else entirely. Um, it needs to come from, what do I want? Not, what do I owe? Ugh. Not, what does their pain require of me? Not, what is the compassionate response to someone who is clearly hurting? Um, what do I actually want for my life? Um, Independent of their pain, um, because compassion extended at the expense of your own clarity is not actually compassion. It's avoidance dressed in generous clothing. The avoidance of having to sit with what you actually want, and whether going back um, is truly that, or whether it's the path of least resistance through someone else's suffering. Um, know the difference for your own sake. Before you respond to whatever arrives from them, uh, this reflection invites you to consider, if they were not broken, if they were not in pain, if the regret was absent, um, and they simply came to you as the person they were before all of this, would you want them back? Uh, Not from a place of saving them, um, not from the pull of their suffering, from your own genuine desire for this specific connection um, in your actual life. Um, because if the answer is yes, then the pain on their end is additional context, um, not the primary motivation. Um, and if the answer is uncertain, or no, um, then their pain, uh, however real, um, is not a reason to override that. Um, because decisions made from someone else's pain rather than your own truth um, tend to produce a different kind of breaking. Um, Eventually, in you, uh, the third energy coming through, and this is the practical one, is, what reconciliation, if it happens, actually requires, not from them alone, from both of you, um, from them. It requires the specific, uncomfortable, nobody can do it for you work of understanding what produced the behavior that caused the harm. Not just, I was wrong, which is the beginning. Um, but here is why I did what I did. Here is what I've understood about that. Here is what I am actively doing to address the root uh, rather than just the symptom. From you, it requires honesty about your own part, not as blame, not as self criticism, but as the honest examination of what you brought um, to the dynamic that might also need addressing. Because connections that break uh, rarely break from one side only. And reconciliation that assigns all responsibility to one person tends to be incomplete from both of you. It requires the willingness to have the real conversation, not the emotional one, though the emotional one matters too. The structural one, the one that says, here is what didn't work. Here is what I need to be different. Here is what I am willing to offer. And here is what I need in return. That conversation, uncomfortable as it is the foundation. Everything built on top of it, including the warmth, including the love, including the desire to make it work, is only as solid as that conversation allows it to be. This reflection invites you to consider, what would you need to hear or see from this person to believe that what's being offered now is genuinely different from what was offered before, not what would feel good to hear, what would actually constitute evidence of real change in the specific area that caused the harm. Because having that answer clearly defined before the reconnection conversation happens means you enter it knowing what you're looking for, rather than being moved by the brokenness into accepting something that hasn't yet become what it needs to be. To actually hold. Here is what I want to say directly before we close. Being someone's true love, the irreplaceable one, the one whose absence breaks them, is significant. It matters. Um, it's worth acknowledging as the real thing it appears to be. Um, and being someone's true love does not obligate you uh, to any particular response, does not require you to prioritize their healing over your own clarity, um, does not mean that the love between you, however real, is automatically sufficient to build something sustainable without the work that sustainability requires. Love, um, real love, um, is necessary. It is not sufficient. The work is what makes it sufficient. Uh, and the work requires both people willing to do it honestly, uh, without the guarantee of outcome, because the doing matters, regardless of where it leads. Um, if you both want to do the work, what might be possible could be extraordinary. Um, because love that has been through something, that has survived the breaking and done the repair correctly, is sturdier, more honest, more real than love that was never tested, but only if the repair is real, um, only if the work is done, um, only if both people enter it with their eyes open, um, and their truth intact. Uh, the power is yours. Um, it always has been. Someone appears to be carrying something heavy in your direction. Um, regret, um, recognition, the specific weight of, I understand now what I didn't understand before. What you do with that is entirely yours to decide, um, from your own truth, from your own desire, from the clearest, most honest, most self aware version of yourself, um, rather than from their pain or the pull of what once was, um, or the specific tenderness of watching someone you loved reckon with what they lost. Know what you want, uh, say it clearly to yourself first, then, if appropriate, um, to them. That's the move. Your truth first. Um, always first. Everything else flows from there. Take what resonates, softly release the rest. Trust yourself. Tell me in the comments when someone comes back broken and regretful, what comes up for you first? Compassion, caution, something more complicated? Drop it below. And what would genuine change actually look like from this specific person in the specific area that caused the harm. Name it here, know it before they arrive. That's everything today. Know what you want um, before their pain decides for you. Um, your clarity is the most important thing in this moment. Protect it. Um, Take care.